We welcome you to Lexington, Kentucky on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon at the brand new state-of-the-art Lexington Sporting Club Stadium. Today's presenting partner is Central Bank, the official bank of the Lexington Sporting Club. Central Bank, member FDIC. With former U.S. Women's National Team member Casey White, I'm Bridget Howard, bringing you all the action today from Lexington SC's home opener. But Casey, week 4 of Super League action has been exciting to say the least, and Carolina Ascent picked up their second win on the season, holding strong atop the standings. Well, Lexington was certainly impressive on the front foot versus Carolina 2 weekends ago in their first Super League match of the year. Head coach Mike Dickey told us overall fitness was a real big focus coming out of that one for this group.
And it really was, and that's something to expect early in the season, but they were able to get this goal through Sydney Shepard. It was a very tight game against Carolina Ascent, but you're going to expect these types of things early in the game, and a great goal there to equalize it. Lexington is going to come into today looking for that first win.
Certainly a great showing from them, though. Lots to build on in this second match of the season. But how about Sydney Shepard? She gets the first goal in club history versus Carolina. She was a trialist with the team, played in a few friendlies in the preseason, and ultimately Coach Dickey said, hey, we're going to sign you to a full contract, and oh, how that has paid off.
And that's what you need. You need opportunity. That's what every player wants. Sydney Shepard will be in that back line, but also look for her to go forward and be that aerial threat.
Well, we've seen quite a few draws in the early goings of the Super League season. Tampa Bay has 2 on the year after their matches with Dallas Trinity and DC Power. This match marks their first road test on the year.
It does, and a lot of goals coming off of set pieces throughout this league, but also some really big-time goalkeeping as well. That penalty kick save was just huge for the Tampa Bay Sun.
Yeah, Ashley Orcus has been a brick wall, to say the least, in goal for the Tampa Bay Sun. She was named Super League Player of the Month for August after putting up a whopping 13 saves in 2 matches.
And this bodes well for the Sun. When you have a goalkeeper that's in form early on, it just helps you solidify your back line, makes them more comfortable so you can go from there and continue to grow.
Absolutely. Well, it has been a jam-packed weekend of matches as we're seeing all 8 teams in action for the first time this season. It should be a good one today. Both Tampa Bay Sun and Lexington SC eager to snatch up their first wins in club history. Lineups and first half action on tap after this. Stick with us for Sunday Super League Soccer right here on Peacock.
New flavors, the same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador, spiked bebidas.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blaze the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
The 2 most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah, I said what I said. I don't care, I paint the town red.
If you can survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
The bright horses are broken free from the fields.
We're back in Lexington, gearing up for our 3rd Super League match of the weekend between Lexington SC and Tampa Bay Sun FC. It's the home opener for Lexington, welcoming fans into their brand new state-of-the-art stadium, and it's a beauty. Well, let's take a look at the starting 11 for Lexington SC. Hannah Richardson gets the start on the back line for the Green today. She was a local legend at the University of Kentucky. Exciting for her to get this start here today.
It is, and she'll slide into that back four. They'll come out in a 4-5-1, but expect Sullivan and Utley on those wing spaces to get a little bit higher. It looked more like a 4-3-3 in possession going forward.
Yeah, with a lot of these teams, the coaches have told us, okay, we have a starting formation. It really doesn't mean much when you get through the game, but that's what they're coming out with, Lexington SC. But as we take a look at Tampa Bay, again, we're seeing a lot of mixing and matching, and again, it's a lot of gelling happening in these first couple matches of the year. But Jordan Listro, in the first 2 matches for Tampa Bay, we've seen her in the outside back spot. Now we see her in the central midfield.
Well, it speaks to her versatility, but that is more of her natural position. She'll slide into that holding mid role in a 4-3-3. She'll be the single pivot, kind of really dictating the tempo there. Talia Stouty comes into the back line and the outside back in place of her. And then you have Nacello, Parker, and Timbrack, who all can score goals in their own right. It should be an exciting front three.
Well, and if there's a coach that knows a thing or two about what players are capable of, let's talk about the relationship between Denise Schulte-Brown and Jordan Listro. She was her head coach at USF a couple of years ago, so she knows Listro very well, and maybe it was, hey, can you play outside back for the first couple games? And then once we figure out our groove, then we'll put you into your natural position.
You have to have players you can depend on, especially when it's early on in a season. And Listro's one of those players for them and shows her versatility.
Yeah, well, we're getting a look here now at Mike Dickey, Lexington SC head coach. He's had a very incredible career as a coach. He comes from the director of coaching and player development at Mockingbird Valley Premier SC, but he's held various roles with the U.S. Youth national teams.
And he's a highly respected coach, as you mentioned, not just from his resume, but the way he approaches the game, does a lot with coaching education, a really good teacher of the game, and he's a great one to have at the helm.
Yeah, well, this is an exciting day for Lexington SC. As we mentioned, Lexington Sporting Club Stadium is finally open, and Casey, we've seen it a little bit on social media and already, and here today they're giving away hard hats for the first 500 fans because their whole thing is pardon my dust, right? They're still gonna keep building and making this stadium the best that it can possibly be, but I want to know how we can get a hard hat.
I know. I'm hoping one is going to get sent to us for sure. We're going to have to pick one up later. But no, it's really nice to see that. It's an absolutely beautiful venue, and I'm sure they're just chomping at the bit, the fans, the players, the staff, just to get this started.
Yeah, in our conversations with Mike Dickey, he specifically was so excited just about the investment from the ownership. You know, this is a compound out in Lexington. It's right off a major highway. They've got 7 turf fields out there. It's a prime example of the youth to pro pathway that they have in Lexington. Well, we're underway here between Tampa Bay Sun and Lexington SC. Our head official today is Danielle Chesky. It'll be a throw-in on the near side for Lexington SC, Courtney Jones. Lexington sporting the all-green unis today. Tampa Bay Sun in their yellow kits. It's been really fun to see all the different kits that these teams are starting to debut throughout the season. I'm sure we're going to see plenty more.
Yes, and they all seem to stand out.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. There's no quiet uniforms.
No.
I love that. I love the branding that we're seeing throughout all of these clubs.
Another throw in on the near side for Courtney Jones. Again, both of these teams are searching for their first wins in USL Super League history. This will be the first road test of the year for Tampa Bay Sun. Tampa Bay trying to make something work, but it'll roll out for another throw-in. Well, today's injury report is presented by UKHC Lexington. It's a couple players out, Laramie Watson, Higgins, Dunn, and as for Tampa Bay, Yuki Watari, Hannah Keene, Marquise as well.
And that's something you have to deal with throughout the year. So it's just about getting everyone as healthy as possible. Players step up when they're needed. And we talk about early in the season, just finding those rhythms. Part of that is the players that are in and out of training capability and lineups as well. That plays a big role in how comfortable you are going into these early games.
Tampa Bay trying to find some channels to send this ball forward. Nasello tracks back. We saw 2 weeks ago in Lexington's debut on the season against Carolina, they came out hard with the press. They were able to pick off a lot of balls deep in Carolina's half of the field. Really forced Carolina to be pinpoint perfect, right, with your passes, your touches. And we're seeing that again here today from Lexington.
Well, and that's something that Coach Denise Schulte-Brown was really aware of when we spoke to her this week. She wanted to prepare her team that when you're getting a ball in the middle third of the field, you're going to have pressure tight on you. You've got to look to be on the half turn, or you've got to bounce it and move it. Lexington has a lot of energy, a lot of aggression going forward, and that's something they're going to want to bring, especially on their home field here today.
This ball sent forward. Kaylee Utley puts this ball across, and it'll be deflected by Viv Bassett for a corner kick for Lexington SC.
And that's where Lexington SC tries to get forward in those wide spaces. Utley coming out of midfield, Sullivan coming out of midfield. It's a really important space for them to get into. It pulls the center back out, and they're rewarded with the corner kick.
And it'll be Madison Perez on the ball for Lexington SC. She was credited with the assist on the goal that Sydney Shepherd had in their first match of the season. Again, that came off of a corner kick as well, so we know how dangerous this group can be on set pieces. Perez sends this one in. Headed out multiple times by Tampa Bay. Picked up in the midfield. Lexington taking this forward, and just a mishit pass there by Corey Sullivan on the far side.
Well, what I like about all of that, though, is that the defensive structure of Tampa Bay Sun on the set piece was really good. It was actually a pretty dangerous service, but also how you step out, how you get pressure on the ball, how you cover in the wide spaces. You want to have that early on in an away game. Any game, really, but especially away. You don't want to give anything real easy in those first 10 or 15 minutes.
Getting a look at the head official, Danielle Chesky. Here's Denise Schulte-Brown. Schulte-Brown, she has come out on fire with the outfits on the sidelines this season. Mad respect to Coach. Tampa Bay switches the field. Bassett to Hendricks to Orcus. Orcus in the all pink today. And a few moments ago, there was a yellow card shown to Sydney Nasello.
And I think what happened on that one is she just kicked the ball after it was already out of bounds, so just that delaying the restart really quickly. So although it's a easy yellow card, you could look the other way. It is a yellow.
Well, and something to note going forward, right? Because now you have a yellow. You have to play a little more conservatively, not because of a hard tackle that happened,
right?
Because of what some may call a silly
it wasn't
delay
out of necessity,
of time.
right?
Correct,
Right, it wasn't out of necessity, and she is a player that's on that forward line, so you would think she won't be in those environments too much to have to make a game-saving tackle or whatever it may be in the back line, but there still is a risk involved with that early on.
Nasello, a player that also was coached by Denise Schulte-Brown at USF. She played there from 2018 to 2021. So again, a lot of familiarity with a number of these players that know what Denise Schulte-Brown's looking for. Corey Sullivan tries to take a shot. Timrak, the heart of the midfield, sends this one out to Nasello. Listro shows for it. And it'll be switched across the field to Bassett. Priscilla Dubuo-Soleil runs into trouble. Sydney Shepherd puts this ball forward, trying to find Hannah Richardson. And there is where you're gonna see that continued movement from Lexington SC, right? You're seeing Hannah Richardson, she's on the back line, but she's able to get up into the attack. We saw this against Carolina in their first match of the season. There's so much movement. Sometimes it's confusing on our end, right? Because we're like, oh, the left back, oh, there they are running up into the attack, or there they are in the central midfield. There's a lot of movement with this Lexington team.
Well, there's so much that's about overloads. How do you draw out defenders? How do you get them out of their defensive block, especially in transition like that? So if the outside backs get forward, it's just going to cause more issues for the opposing outside backs of the Tampa Bay Sun, or vice versa if it's going the opposite way.
Courtney Jones, Timrak. Timrak takes it forward. Timrak with space. Timrak trying to find Giamona. Nasello comes up with it. Nasello takes it herself and a shot off. Bridget Skiba gets her first action of the day.
And Giamona actually does really well with that because the ball from Timrak was lifted off of the ground. It's hard to bring that down, but to be able to keep possession in the final third, really important. Both of these teams we're already seeing in the middle third have some really creative ability. They want to be on the ball. They want to possess. It's who can be a little bit more execution-oriented in the final third that's going to be important.
Schulte-Brown told us that Carly Giamona is beyond lethal from 18. So not only is she great at being able to just lay off a quick ball and make sure it stays with possession of Tampa, but it's also, you have to mark her because you know what she can do from distance. Let's look back at that last build-up for Tampa Bay.
And right here, it was Nasello. There's a run going to the corner from Giamona. That just clears a little bit of space for the left-footed opportunity. I like that from Parker. If that is spilled by Skiba, she's going to be able to tap that in. So that's really good habits there from the front three.
Riley Parker, a player Schulte-Brown also talked with us about, and just saying we want to see more touches on the ball from her. You know, she had such a great collegiate career. She was able to score a lot of goals and assist with a lot, and you know, what can she do here? Can we get her more touches on the ball? And again, that comes with time, that comes with gelling. But here we see her with her first touches of the game.
And she's extremely industrious, does a lot of work, has a high work rate up top. When you start to play in the professional game, your defenses sit in a little bit more. So just figuring out the space between the back line and the midfield and how to operate in there is something that she can continue to do. And you can see where she can cause problems when she gets on the ball.
Riley Parker, all SEC first team and SEC forward of the year back in 2022 at Alabama. Courtney Jones keeps this one in bounds. Takes on Timrak. A hard challenge. Viv Bassett. And there's Mary-Kate McGuire, former Ole Miss and Duke star. In her high school days, she was the 3-time Rhode Island Gatorade Player of the Year.
That's nice.
That's impressive.
It is.
So this will be a free kick for Lexington. Interesting part of the field. Tactically, what are you trying to do here?
You're wanting to float this in behind the back line. You want it with enough pace that it draws the goalkeeper out, but far enough away from the goalkeeper that a player can run on the backside if possible.
Kaylee Utley and Enna Young Shin. push in, puts this one towards goal and right into the hands of Ashley Orcus.
And that's not really something I would look to do from a left-footed ball there unless it's a little bit further to the back post area. So it might have just been a technical execution piece. You could see that they were thinking about creating the 2v1. This is off the training ground, you can tell, but just the execution there or the timing of the runs have to get across the front of the keeper.
Bay wins this in the midfield. Nasello gets it to Timrak. Timrak takes it towards the top of the 18 and takes a shot. Bridget Skiba coming up with it once again here in the early goings.
Well, and that's a transition moment right there. I think that's something that either of these teams can take advantage of. I'd like to see Timrak be a little more selfish on that. Perez does well defensively, but she has so much speed, Timrak, to go at players. Kind of got a little hesitant in that moment, but there's some opportunity to take on in that space.
Courtney Jones showing off the skills. This ball sent forward. Riley Parker gets this at the top of the 18, takes a shot, and goes just wide of the net. But again, you talk about creating good habits. We saw it just a couple of moments ago. Riley Parker, she continues to just be in the right spaces. And here you see she doesn't really do much, but again, the defender for Lexington mishandles it, and then it creates an opportunity for Parker.
Well, and that's what forwards do. They're just in and around the action, right? So you can create for yourself, but you can also use your defending to really generate more and more opportunities. You don't want to just wait for the game to come to you as a player that likes to score goals, and that's what Parker does in that moment.
Courtney Jones in space on the near side. Sends it up top. Mary-Kate McGuire finding Sullivan. Sullivan trying to create space. Timrak comes up with the ball. We'll recycle it to Orcus.
And this is better possession right now from the Tampa Bay Sun. And Lexington's very organized defensively in that moment, but still finding that change of point is really helpful going into the attack.
Nasello on the ball. She's trying to target Giamona on the far side. Good step by Bassett. The USL Super League is kicking off its inaugural Division I professional women's soccer league in August, featuring 8 teams located throughout the country. Watch all the Super League games and historic firsts airing exclusively on NBC's Peacock Network. Former U.S. Women's National Team member Casey White, I'm Bridget Howard on the call here today from Lexington. Again, Lexington SC's home opener. We're getting our first looks at their gorgeous new stadium, Lexington Sporting Club Stadium here. Trying to put on a show here in their second match of the season. Anna Richardson trying to take it forward, coughed up by Giamona.
Parsons is doing a good job of just trying to cut the field in half when they're trying to build out the Sun, and that allows your midfield to kind of replay, try to make it predictable as possible. So that's why we're not seeing the Sun go forward quite as much, because the midfield is really organized there for Lexington.
You mentioned it earlier with Erica Timrak specifically. You wish she would have maybe been a little bit more selfish in that moment at the top of the 18. And in a couple of moments, we've seen players have just been so quick to get rid of it. Wasilla Dubuo-Soleil trying to switch the point of attack.
And you mentioned that it's hard because it's so nuanced, right? Like, when do you keep it versus when do you go yourself? And when there's space to go in behind with no covering player, I think there's those opportunities to take on a little bit more. In the middle third of the field, that's where you've got to be a little bit more 1 and 2 touch, move the ball, shift the back line, shift the midfield. So it can be difficult to make those decisions in that moment. And I think the game will start to open up, and we have to figure, remember that it's early. It's still very early in the season, so units are still forming, your comfortability and partnerships with the players you're playing next to as well.
Having been a player and coach yourself, what takes the longest with a new team to develop? Is it the offense? Is it the defense?
I think a lot of times coaches will start with the defensive structure because it's way more structured than attacking. There's a lot of freedom in the attack. Yes, there's patterns, but there's creativity, flexibility, interchange, and you have to let players be players.
A great ball forward by Nasello to Riley Parker. Riley Parker takes it to the touchline, tries to find someone on the backside. No one there for Tampa Bay.
When that's a moment right there, if you'll remember, we talked to Denise Schulte-Brown about they want to get into that space, but they want to find zone 3, which is cutting it back. And that was the run that Timrack was making in that moment. When you've only got one runner and you're on the inline, can you slice it back on the ground? Even if you don't connect with Timrack, it gives an opportunity for another runner to come through.
Anna Richardson shoots it out wide to Corey Sullivan. Corey Sullivan cuts it back. Good defending from Tampa Bay Sun. Ashley Orcus getting another touch. We're seeing a lot of fans in the stands here today for Lexington SC. Lexington doing a nice job, as you mentioned, with their defensive structure, really forcing Tampa Bay to think and be perfect with their passing as well out of the back. But defensively, they're trying to put them in specific spaces. Wasila Dubu-Soleil at the top of the box. She tries to switch it, but intercepted. Tampa Bay try to create something once more. They'll send it backwards to Viv Bassett.
Well, the defensive structure, as you mentioned, from Lexington has been good, especially in this middle third. The Sun are starting to find some spaces in behind. Now it's just that technical execution to get in.
Great ball forward by Nasello to Kristen Edmonds. Edmonds puts this across the top of the box. Giamona misses it, and a shot goes in for Tampa Bay.
And what I love about this is Kristen Edmonds gets forward on the left side. That's your left back rotating all the way up into the wide space, playing this ball across to a dangerous area. You got multiple runners, Giamona not able to connect, and then that's your right back stepping up, Talia Stouty with the left foot. That is not an easy hit right there. First time having to curl it, get the right pace on it. It's an incredible finish from the outside back.
Talia Stouty, a late addition to this Tampa Bay Sun team. She signed with the club after the season began. She gets her first goal of the season, but to your point, Casey, an incredibly tough angle to score from.
And really, that angle from 12 yards out would be hard. That's from 19, 20 yards out. You have to get an amount of pace to be able to beat a goalkeeper with that. That ball was coming in with pace from Kristen Edmonds all the way across. It had been deflected by Giamona. So there's so much technique that goes in, and then being able to do it in that critical moment. But you know, Talia Stouty is a player that's been through the U.S. Youth National Team systems, had an amazing collegiate career at UVA. A lot of times plays in that center back role, but she's showing she can do it from the outside back as well.
Kaylee Utley trying to get one across. It'll roll out for a throw-in. Quick passing from Tampa Bay. Nasello to Edmonds, Bassett. Again, switching the field has really allowed for some opportunities, runs, more time to get into space.
And really between all this is the battle between the outside backs and the channel, and that time the Sun really got forward quickly, and that made it hard for Lexington.
And I love, we spoke with Kristen Edmonds earlier this week, and she said you're going to see big steps from this Tampa Bay Sun team just with the way that they've been working in practice. And again, it's a lot of becoming familiar with your teammates at this point. This is Tampa's third match of the season, just Lexington's second. So we might see some miscommunication at points throughout the match, but Kristen Edmonds, she gave us the heads up.
She did.
She said we are going to look like a different team, and you know, they were very frustrated in that first half against DC a couple weeks ago. They created so many offensive opportunities, and they just could not find the back of the net. They did, but it was called offsides. But now you're seeing all of that hard work pay off in an early goal here.
I think you'll see exponential growth with all of these teams with the level of coaching they have. The more you play together, just the more comfortable you feel. And for Lexington as well, they're looking for 90 minutes of consistency. They have started this game well, but at the professional level, it's about moments. And Stouty stepped up in a big moment. It's not that Lexington hasn't created things going forward or been really structured defensively, but Tampa Bay's still able to break through.
Cello. This one will go out of bounds. Well, Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
I think one of the things that's also causing problems is that Timrak is coming and playing a little bit more inverted, just meaning she's coming inside, staying in a midfield shape. That brings an extra player into midfield and allows Marcelo to get out wide. It allows Kristen Edmonds to take the space, and it makes it hard for an outside back to understand where do you step.
And you can tell already in this one that they want that space behind. They're finding those channels. Marcelo has had some great balls through. Timrak puts this across. On the far side, official will call Tampa offsides. It's Riley Parker. But they're finding those split passes through the defense. They're getting into space, and you know, you love to see Kristen Edmonds getting up into the attack, but let's talk about the ball she placed across the box, because one, at that pace, it's not easy to put one on the ground that is just perfect for the end receiver. But she does it anyways. That's why they're pros.
Yeah, exactly.
Good defending from Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay Sun still searching for their first win of the season. They started off on opening weekend playing Dallas Trinity FC, ended in a draw, 1-1. And then back on August 24th, they played DC Power, and thanks to the incredible defending and goalkeeping of Ashley Orcus, they end that one with a draw as well. Timrak takes this ball forward, trying to find Riley Parker. Parker keeps it, cuts back, trying to find space, puts this towards goal.
Well, you could just see the body language of Timrak was better in that moment. Puts her head down, goes at speed. It doesn't mean being selfish means not giving up the ball in the right moment, and I think she picks a really good moment here. The ball's going across to Parker, kind of leads her into that space. Parker does well to get that initial touch, cuts it back on the left foot, and that looked very familiar to the goal Stouty scored, but Skiba is a little bit more aware of that back post area.
There will be a foul called on this near side. Anna Richardson now on the near side. Initially started off this match on that far side on the back line, but again, we alluded to it when we looked at the starting lineups. It really doesn't matter what formation you start in. There's going to be quite a bit of movement throughout this match.
There's a lot of personnel changes, and I think for these coaches too to see like what the matchups are looking like. Do they see something, not only that they may have to stop from the other team, but how can they take advantage of certain matchups on the field? So you see that switch between those two outside backs, something that probably Mike Dickey recognized, okay, let's slow something down over here, or maybe Courtney Jones can get forward a little more on that side, whatever it may be.
Parker laying this one off for Giamona. Giamona looking for an outlet pass. She'll find Nasello on the near side. And you can see Kristen Edmonds working her way into the attack. Nasello takes it to the central midfield, finds Timrak. Timrak takes it forward with a shot, and this one sails over the crossbar.
Well, and I love this attack, though, because Kristen Edmonds does the unselfish work of she might get the ball, but she might not. But what happens is when Nasello decides to go to the right, if Timrak plays this across, now there's extra numbers in the penalty area, and that includes Edmond, it includes Parker. That one needs to be low, driven across, because even if there is a save, look how many numbers are in the box for a potential finish.
Absolutely, and let's talk about Nasello, because she keeps that ball till just the right time, and you can see on that replay, there are 3 Lexington players coming in towards her, and she just flicks it right at the right time, and it gives Timrak enough space to get a shot off. Ultimately, not the exact shot that she wanted, but it's that awareness to say, okay, I'm gonna draw in as many as we can and slaughter at the right time.
Yeah, she had a lot of decisions she could have made, none of them necessarily wrong, but it comes down to technical execution, and that's what Nasello did really well in that moment.
Again, Tampa Bay forced to be perfect in the early goings of this match due to the press of Lexington.
See, and Timrak's a big part of that. She's going into that midfield space. She's taking a high positioning against the 4-2-3-1 of Lexington, and it creates a 4 against 3 in midfield, and that's making it a lot easier for the Sun to build out against the press.
That ball mishandled by Kristen Edmonds. It'll go out of bounds now for a throw-in for Lexington SC. Listro cuts this one off. It'll go out for another throw-in. Richardson sends it backwards. Edmonds pushes it back to Orcus. Now, it's good for Tampa that Ashley Orcus hasn't been tested much, but I will say it is pretty darn fun to watch Ashley Orcus leap into the air, make some incredible saves, especially that penalty kick we saw her save against Dallas.
That's on an as-need basis.
Yes.
They don't want to see that too often.
They don't want to see it, but we want to see it.
But we do. We like it. It's exciting.
Ashley Orcus, once again, the August Player of the Month in the USL Super League, at 13 saves in 2 matches, 1 clean sheet. Timrak gets this at the top of the box, sends it out wide. Ball put across, Giamona on the end of it. And it'll be another goal for Tampa Bay Sun.
And they've been literally perfect with their opportunities, pretty much. I mean, this one is great. And again, getting the assist is Stouty, who got the first goal. This ball's played to the backside. It's cleared out. Timrak keeps it alive. She barely gets a touch on this, but you can see Stouty just say, I'm just gonna get this across, put it into an area. Parker makes that unselfish run to the near post. Giamona makes enough contact with this one, and she does a good job because you wanna hit that across frame because your goalkeeper is coming to the near post area. She does a great job with the finish for the second goal.
And you know Carly Giamona wanted that first chance back when she whiffed it at the top of the box. She makes up for it here. Tampa Bay Sun up 2-0, 31 minutes into this first half. Lexington SC, not the start I imagine they want in their home opener in front of fans.
And what's incredibly difficult is they're actually doing a really good job in taking Jordan Listro out of the game in build-up. She's not able to get on the ball very much. A lot of that's because of McGuire, but it's in that final third. They've got to figure out how to get numbers behind the ball.
Trying to find Riley Parker up top was Erica Timrak. Again, this ball just that miscommunication. Courtney Jones trying to keep it in on that far side, but it'll be a throw-in for Tampa Bay Sun FC. Erica Timrak, we didn't see her play up to her fullest capabilities in that opening weekend match against Dallas Trinity, and I think Denise Schulte-Brown told us, you know, she still has a lot more in the tank. We have a lot more to see from her, and I think we're finally starting to see that in this third match for Tampa Bay.
And she's a player that does really well with a lot of freedom and a free roll. And I think that's what we're seeing here through this first 33 minutes is that Erica Timrak's able to float into a wide space. She can float into the top of the midfield, wherever that may be, to create an overload of players, a 2v1, a 4v3, a 3v2, whatever it may be. When she has that freedom to do that, she can play make more, and we're seeing that so far today.
Well, and let's look at Dallas, right, and the opponent that they are. She's going up against Amber Brooks, one of the hardest players to go up against, extremely aggressive. This is a completely different match for her. They knew Lexington was going to come out, not allow you a lot of time on the ball, but Tampa so far has done a great job of quick passing. Again, exactly what Denise Schulte-Brown told us, getting rid of it quickly, having that support. They've done that, which has allowed for that freedom.
And Delua Soleil has really been that player in between Listro and Timrak and Giamona that's playing in a gap that's getting on the ball quite a bit because Lexington plays with two holding mids. So they are kind of giving a lot of space between themselves and their attacking mids. If they can get that tighter, it might be harder for the Sun in the midfield.
Trying to find space in the box. That's Brooke Hendricks doing all the defending for Tampa Bay Sun. Hendricks had the first goal in club history. The defenders have been showing out offensively in these first couple weeks of the season. Mary-Kate McGuire trying to make something happen, will be called for a foul. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk. Debuting on Wednesday, September 11th, USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along on the Sirius XM app. Mary-Kate McGuire. Tampa clearing this one. Credit to Sydney Nasello because she has had those entry passes that have created those prime offensive opportunities that have led to great goals for this Tampa Bay Sun team.
It has, and that's causing Richardson to have to step higher. I think Lexington putting Richardson and Jones a little bit higher as outside backs, that'll put more pressure on the wingers of the Tampa Bay Sun. That's a switch we've seen kind of the last minute or two where they've gone a little bit more aggressive in that wide space. It just doesn't allow the Sun to get forward too much.
Hendricks on the ball. She'll send it back to Orcus. Bassett. finding Nacello. Dubuo Soleil. Timrak with the tackle. Yeah, to your point, Timrak just looks incredibly composed so far in this match.
She does.
She's finding her own. And again, it's funny, not funny I should say, but you see the transition of a player just in the first a couple of minutes of this game. Initially when she was on the ball, we saw her, not wanting to keep it, kind of uncertain with it. And now we're seeing her checking back, making those tackles, really finding her groove. And this is one in the midfield for Lexington. Jordan Listro.
I like that from the Sun right there because they are a possession-oriented team, and both of these teams want to keep the ball, but sometimes you have to look for those vertical gaps, and Parker going in behind those runs, even though it doesn't come off right there, what that does is it makes the back line of Lexington shift back. It creates even more space in midfield.
Nacello holds it, waiting for some support. They'll opt to send it backwards. Orcus to Hendricks. In conversations with this Tampa Bay Sun team and head coach Denise Schulte-Brown, they're really proud of the culture that they've built in such a short amount of time. They've got a number of experienced players on this roster, but also some academy players, younger players that have made their mark in the matches that they've shown in, and Denise Schulte-Brown really proud of what they've created already.
And that could be really nice to have that, just that balance of experienced and younger players. You see the passion from certain players and the excitement in their eyes in their first chance of being in a professional environment. And you have some experience of Listro, Timrak, Edmonds, all of these players that can come in and they show that they can learn something every day too, even though they've been playing for a lot of years. That can create a really great culture to move forward with.
Cheers to local beer. West 6th Brewing is proud to be the official craft beer of Lexington Sporting Club. Find their locally crafted beers all around the state of Kentucky, from the flagship West 6th IPA to Sixer Light Lager. There's something for everyone. Head to west6.com to visit one of their dynamic tap rooms and learn more about Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC.
Well, that's better from Lexington right there, just being a little bit more patient defensively.
Cleared out by Skiba. Corey Sullivan tried to come down with it, but Brooke Hendricks able to create another opportunity in the midfield for Tampa Bay.
And look at the interchange. Kristen Edmonds is on the forward line. That's your left back. And I think that's what Tampa Bay's Sun's showing today is that interchange. Cindy DeCello's like, I don't mind, stay up there. I'll slot into that role. And there's a lot of sophistication in that movement when you allow your backs to get forward.
And it shows the confidence that this team has in one another.
Substitution for Lexington.
But we'll get our first substitution of the day. It'll be Lexington SC making the switch. Kimberly Mendez coming onto the pitch for Enayung Shin. Mendez has only played 5 minutes so far for Lexington SC this season. She spent her college days at Cal State LA. Giamona finds Nacello. Bassett shoots this forward.
And to be fair to Bassett there was space to be able to penetrate in behind, but just not on the same page with the front three. And that's that moment we talk about, just understanding possession versus penetration and being on the same page. Not a bad decision, just making sure you understand your teammates.
Now, is that just a case of, okay, we're nearing halftime? Maybe
it
just
could be.
Maybe just trying not to run things out.
It could be. I mean, you definitely don't want to play with the ball in your own end too much because a 2-0 lead feels really nice going into halftime. So you want to see that out. But part of that, I think, is just getting those partnerships right. It can be early in the season, but also it can just be in that moment, just two players on two different pages.
Edmonds settles this ball. Opts to pass back to Orcus. This back line has gotten quite a few touches in this first half. Jordan Listro to Bassett, out to Edmonds.
And you can see with the insertion of Mendez, when she came in, she was kind of urging her teammates to get a little bit higher. There was information that came with that sub, not waiting till halftime, trying to press a little bit higher on players and get, you know, maybe some turnovers in that defending final third of the Sun.
It's interesting you say that because in our conversation with Denise Schulte-Brown, she felt in the last match versus DC, the players she subbed in, she maybe didn't do the best job of providing them with exactly what role they were serving when they stepped onto the pitch. And there you see with Mendez, there was certainly a message being sent to this group when she stepped on. A couple of stats for you in the upper left-hand corner. Clearly Tampa Bay has the advantage in possession in this first half. Not a lot of shots in general for Lexington, none on goal.
I think Denise Schulte-Brown will be happy with that 5 on frame out of the 7, though, for the Sun. Talking with her this week about the execution piece. They didn't necessarily start out being able to get a lot in the first 10 or 15 minutes, but once they started going forward, they have 4 saves, and they've gotten 2 goals out of it.
As this first half winds down, Tampa Bay up 2-0 thanks to goals from Talia Stouty and Carly Giamona. Both their first on the season. Soleil takes this forward. I think Kristen Edmonds having that conversation there, realizing she was going to be coming off sides.
Yeah, that's what it looked like, definitely, and it was just a little bit of a step behind on when to distribute that ball.
There'll be 3 minutes of stoppage time added to this first half. Nasello, 1v1, takes on her defender. Richardson tries to put one across the box, and miss-hit will be a goal kick for Lexington SC.
And that's better for Lexington defensively. They outnumbered the players in the penalty area, so even if that had gone in, they looked super organized, had 4 behind the ball with their holding mid in front. So that's something they're gonna have to make sure they can get through the rest of this half, not give up anything else, because they can get organized at halftime, figure out a way maybe to make the Sun a little bit more uncomfortable than what we've seen in the first half.
And there's going to be adversity that these teams are going to face as they're still figuring out one another throughout the season, but it's a bit of a different storyline for this Lexington SC team in their second match of the season versus North Carolina. They started off really strong. Here, haven't started out as strong. They're now down 2-0 going into the second half. They're going to have to make sure that they continue, you know, to keep the press on, be sharp defensively, because that's where we saw, even Mike Dickey told us, they had that let off. They need to have a full 90 minutes of energy and excitement, because that's where they dropped off against Carolina Ascent, and that's when Carolina was able to step in.
Right, and it is going to be a little bit opposite of that. They have to figure out a way to change the complexion of the game, the energy of this game, because right now the Sun look really comfortable in possession. So is that a tactical system change? I don't know. Is that an emotional change, getting higher up the field, pressing even higher? That'll be something that they'll certainly look at halftime to try to make Tampa Bay uncomfortable.
A throw in on the near side. Kristen Edmonds on your screen. Kristen Edmonds with loads of experience. Nasello takes it herself, waiting for support. She finds Giamona. Giamona tries to turn, just out of play. Lexington SC with some passing in tight spaces, trying to clear this one and run out the first half, excuse me. Ball sent forward. Trying to find Sullivan. Orcus clears this. Stouty puts it forward. Courtney Jones and Sydney Nasello. The battle there in the midfield. I think you're seeing right now just a Tampa Bay Sun team that has one extra game under their belt against a Lexington team where you're still seeing a couple of mistakes. Tampa Bay really has done a nice job in this first half of being so on point with every touch. And again, we saw them have a couple of miscues in the first match of the season, even in the second match of the season. And you're gonna start to see that all come together. And it's coming together for Tampa Bay. They're up 2-0 at the end of the first half. They were looking for offensive opportunities. More so, they were looking to finish the opportunities and the chances that they got. Casey, a lot to look forward to for this Tampa Bay team.
Absolutely, and you talk about having that extra game under their belt, but also it's amazing what finishing a goal can do for you, because as soon as that goal went in for Talia Stouty, they got even more comfortable. They were like, okay, we got the goal. That's what we've been searching for, executing in the final third. Now settle in possession even more. It wasn't that they didn't start well, but once they had that goal, it propelled them forward. You get a second. Now they're really just in the driver's seat, taking their time, dictating tempo.
Well, if there's one thing we all know as soccer fans, a 2-0 lead is the most dangerous lead to have. So don't expect them to sit back and just ride this one out, because it's the home opener for Lexington SC. They want to come out in this second half and really get things going, find the back of the net if they can. Again, Tampa Bay, their defense has done a solid job, has had a solid effort and showing in this first half. And we're gonna get to hear from the goal scorer herself here in just a moment, but we're getting a look at the fans here in the stands for Lexington SC.
I see a few hard hats up there.
See a few hard hats.
I'm getting more and more jealous the more I see it.
Yeah, how about these horse hats too? All right, well, we've got Talia Stouty joining us now. A goal in the 19th minute. Talia, what did you see on that build up there that led to your first goal of the season?
Yeah, so I just saw the defense rotating really far over, and I just thought I had an opportunity, and I kind of just went for it and just curled it in far post.
Talia, Casey White here. Exciting to see that first goal, but overall your team has just done extremely well in possession. What do you like to see even a little bit more in the second half from your group to see out this win?
Yeah, our possession's been good, building up the field. I'd like to see us just kind of like keep that possession into the final third, just be a little bit more patient out there and keep the ball and create more scoring opportunities.
Awesome. Well, Talia, thank you so much. Get into the locker room. Excited to see this Tampa Bay Sun team in the second half.
Thank you so much.
That's Talia Stouty. She had the first goal for Tampa Bay Sun in this one in the 19th minute, followed by Carly Giamona. We've got more for you coming up after this at the half. Tampa Bay Sun FC up 2-0 over Lexington SC.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation.
We
We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
We live with you, build with you, grow up with you, and dream with you. At Central Bank, we belong to the same communities you do. You're our neighbors, friends, and business partners. And through the relationships we build with you every day, we consistently serve you better. That's what highly personal banking is all about. We start with you.
UK Healthcare Orthopedic Surgery and Sports Medicine offers comprehensive treatments for bone, joint, and muscle disorders and injuries of all types, from complex repairs to complete replacements. UKHealthcare.com, the power of advanced medicine.
Lexington is the Kentuckiest place in the world. Just look at it. It's by far the bluegrassiest, the bourbonist. See? The artsiest, and hands down, the horsiest. Oh, look, that one has a baby. I don't know why you would look anywhere else. Looking for the coolest, most Kentuckiest getaway? Look at Lexington.
Race to the top.
You're on.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending, and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. No minimums, no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
Raise it back down.
So kick it up a notch with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union, the official credit union of Lexington SC.
The atmosphere is going to be amazing. The stadium is incredible, and you're going to be watching the highest level of professional women's soccer.
This is just something Lexington hasn't had yet, and we can't wait to be a part of this for years to come.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Week 4 has been a fun one in the Super League. We saw Carolina and Fort Lauderdale United get after it on Friday night. Renee Guillon with the Olympico.
There have been a lot of set-piece goals, and another one would come from Carolina to the back post. A really good header there, goes right into the near post area, but Fort Lauderdale United FC would have this run from Hamid, playing it to the back post area. It slips it right in, trying to cut the lead, but not able quite to get the equalizer.
Last night, we had a great matchup between Dallas Trinity FC and DC Power FC, and are we even surprised Dorian Bockham finally able to get on the board her first goal of the season and the first goal on the year for DC Power.
And both of these goals come from just a relentless press at Sam Meza right there, going to the near post area, pressing high, getting the turnover and finding the equalizer.
The best friends, Bockham and Meza, both getting on the scoring sheet last night. All right, well, our halftime score presented by Central Bank. It's Tampa Bay Sun FC up 2-0 at the break. Can Lexington SC come back in the second half and get their fans on the feet here in the home opener? Don't go anywhere, more coming your way. You're getting a look now at the news and notes for the Super League for Week 4. We've seen a lot of professional debuts, 34 to be exact so far on the year. Here in this match today, we're getting a look at the brand new stadium for Lexington SC, soccer-specific stadium, seating over 7,000 fans. And we're also getting a look at Ashley Orcus, the August Player of the Month for the Super League. Again, 13 saves through the first 2 matches of the season. We've got more Super League action coming for you on this Sunday. Later tonight, we'll get our first look at Brooklyn FC.
You only get one chance to introduce yourself to the league. That's what it is for Brooklyn FC tonight. So expect them to come out really strong against Spokane.
Next weekend, we'll see DC Power in their home opener against Fort Lauderdale United FC, followed by Dallas Trinity and Lexington. Lots of exciting action already in the first month of the Super League season, but we've got a whole other half to play here in Lexington, Kentucky. At the break, Tampa Bay Sun FC up 2-0 over Lexington. All right, well, it was an exciting first half of soccer for Tampa Bay Sun FC. They wanted to get on the board early, and they did just that, Casey.
There's so much interchange within the players. Kristen Edmonds, the outside back, getting forward, playing this ball across. An initial miscue, but Talia Stouty is the recipient of it and is able to put this into the back post. It's a great strike from the outside back, and Sydney Nasello has been so involved. She was involved on the first goal, springing Edmonds. Now she plays the initial ball in. Timrat gets a touch. It's Stouty again, now getting an assist to Giamona on the back post. Not being able to player-for-player mark in the box was Lexington, leaves Giamona wide open, and nothing that Skiba can do in goal to stop it.
And not even a great touch on that finish, but it does not matter. It goes in the back of the net. Tampa Bay Sun up 2-0 here at the break as we get ready for the second half. Casey, looking at the halftime stats as it stands right now, what stands out to you?
Well, it's all Tampa Bay in possession with 63%, but I really like the execution piece. 5 out of their 7 shots on frame. No shot still on target for Lexington. They did generate 2 opportunities, but they're going to have to figure out how to get more numbers forward and get more numbers in the box.
It's Lexington SC team. It's their home opener, hoping to get on the board in this second half. Again, we're getting our first looks at the state-of-the-art soccer-specific stadium, Lexington SC Stadium. Casey, to see the growth of women's soccer in the United States and to see this type of investment into a professional women's soccer team. Now, it'll also host the men's team's matches as well, but focusing on the women's side of things, how exciting is this?
It was a dream when I played to have anything like this in the women's game, and so to see it is amazing. I mean, look at the pitch surface. It looks unbelievable. These players are playing an amazing style on it. You've got the fans that are coming out. So just to see that investment from ownerships and all the way through, not just the first teams, but from the academies all the way up and building that pipeline is so important.
Yeah, head coach Mike Dickey for Lexington SC. You could tell he was like a proud dad talking about this team, the investment into the stadium, but just as a whole, this is essentially a compound for Lexington SC. Their soccer club right off of a major highway. They've got 7 turf fields next to this stadium. And again, it's been a great project, he said. They're working 24/7 to get it picture perfect, as we've seen today. The Pardon My Dust hard hats that are out in full force. Again, Lexington, if you're hearing us, Casey and I would love a hard hat.
But you know what? We would. I'm going to support that. And it's amazing not only that they've done this, but how quickly the progress has been made from April to now, and the pictures you see of what it looked like then to what it looks like now. They have really just put this in full force to make sure it's ready for these women.
Look at those.
We would look so great in that.
I love it. And not only are they wearing the hats, we've got the pom-poms on top of it.
It's quite decorative. Yes, I like that.
I was a cheerleader back in my day, so I'm all about the pom-poms.
I cannot claim that.
Pom-poms and a hard hat. Let's go. Getting a look at number 20, Autumn Weeks, who came on for Corey Sullivan for Lexington SC. Autumn Weeks played 61 minutes in the initial match against Carolina Ascent. She's an Academy player, Lexington Sporting Club W League team member. A quiet start to this second half. Nasello gets it on the near side, splits the defenders.
And I think they have to be that alert, Lexington, to Nasello. It's going to take more than 1 or 2 players to defend her.
Moyer and Listro battling. Moyer getting the better end of it. To Mary-Kate McGuire. Mary-Kate McGuire, a player that Coach Mike Dickey said she's a goal scorer, she's sharp. She's been someone that they've wanted to build this team around. She played the full 90 versus Carolina Ascent. Spent 4 years at Duke, 1 year at Ole Miss.
And you're already seeing with her too, is like she can go forward, but her defensive presence is really good for an attacking player, especially being high up the field, putting pressure on, and that really dictates how much the players behind you can be aggressive and step and condense the space. And so she's a big part of setting that line of confrontation for Lexington.
Yeah, we've heard it from quite a few coaches early in this season that when they were building their rosters, they were looking for players that could do both. They could get in the attack and be a piece defensively that they could rely on. Parker sends it out to Sewuo Delay. Delay will be called offsides.
And we're already seeing Weeks is in that left back role. That's allowed Lexington to put Courtney Jones a little bit higher. She's more in that wing space, aggressive to go a little bit more forward. So not only one sub, but just that change in personnel to get Jones higher up the field. Also, they're only playing with 1 holding midfield now. In the first half, we saw them with 2. So a few little changes and tweaks here and there just to get a little bit pressure higher up the field, maybe mess with the numbers a little bit to make the Sun more uncomfortable.
You know Mike Dickey, so what do you imagine that locker room conversation was like at the break?
I think Mike Dickey is a very composed coach, and he's very much about education, tactics, and being able to put in a game plan. And I think that you're going to see him being composed at a halftime speech with saying, hey, here's the changes we need to make. Here's the spaces we need to get into.
Well, he told us in our conversation, he said, I love that there's been a lot of coaching. He said, it's been a good challenge for me and trying to find creative ways to teach these young women. He said, I thought it would be less with the worlds they came from, but there still is a lot of teaching going on, but it's a group that's willing to learn. And really, as a coach, you can't ask for anything more.
Absolutely, and it takes time. It takes time to get through that all, but you're already seeing it pay off in this second half. I think there are numbers forward. They're putting pressure higher up the field. They were in the higher parts of the field in the first half, but there wasn't that bite to step and win the ball, and we're seeing that a little bit more now.
Good layoff. Timrak gets it. She'll try and switch. Riley Parker there. Lexington comes up with it in the heart of the midfield. Trying to reset, find open space. Perez finds Richardson on the far side. She'll take it herself. Lots of space. Tries to send it inside. And Ashley Orcus comes off her line. Casey, what'd you see there?
Well, I think what we're seeing is that there's two attacking midfielders out of Lexington right now. Parsons has come back into that spot, and Mendez, when she came in that 41st minute substitution. Just having higher players up the field allows you to get a little bit pressure a little earlier. And see, they're stepping into the penalty box now. They weren't doing this in the first half.
Almost became a difficult situation for Hendricks. The way that Mary-Kate McGuire came on,
right,
the way she angled her hips really forced Orcus to be on point with that clearance.
And you have to do this if you're Lexington. You have to find a way back in the game, but the Sun have to be alert to the fact that they might be able to catch them in transition and get that third goal. The third goal is what every coaching staff wants. It kind of breaks the entire game down when that happens, where the Sun may not be as comfortable in possession, but will be able to go forward still.
Cello finding Parker. But again, we're seeing lots of pressure put on by Lexington, really trying to limit the amount of touches and time Tampa Bay has. Skiba way off her line. We'll send this across the field to Moyer, out to Richardson. Just misplayed by Richardson, picked up by Giamona into the midfield for Timrak. Timrak trying to find Nacello, but there she is again. Courtney Jones doing the work on the defensive end. Lexington will look to reset. Back out to that far side is Richardson. She'll play a ball forward, trying to get around Edmonds. Edmonds will shoot this one out of bounds for a throw-in for Lexington SC. Onto the pitch now, we'll see Ashley Clark-Lemieux. She will come on in place of Riley Parker.
A substitution for Tampa Bay Sun in the 54th minute. Entering the match is number 24, Ashley Clark, for number 31.
Ashley Clark-Lemieux spent her college days at Campbell from 2011 to 2015. The 2015 Big South Attacking Player of the Year. She's had quite a few minutes in the first few matches of the season. Ball sent in, headed out. Soleil doing her job. They'll find Timrak up top. She's got space. She'll send it out wide, trying to find Clark-Lemieux. And a quick reset for Lexington. This ball, just a bit too much pace on it. Join us for the next home match on Sunday, September 22nd, when the ladies in green from Lexington Sporting Club take on Fort Lauderdale FC at 4 p.m. Secure your seats today and continue your support of Lexington SC.
Well, I think we're starting to see, too, the game is opening up a little bit more. There's some space in behind that both teams are looking to penetrate. You saw a little frustration from Clark-Lemieux coming into the game, but I think this is good from Denise Schulte-Brown, continuing to build the depth with getting different players into the game. You want to keep your energy levels high as well, even though you're already up 2-0. You don't want Lexington to get a foothold in the game, and they have changed their system a little bit to be able to put a little more pressure on.
A throw-in now for Lexington SC. Autumn Weeks with the ball. Tried to find Madison Parsons, and this one will roll out of bounds for a Tampa Bay Sun goal kick. Lexington comes up with it at the top of the 18, trying to make something happen is Mary Kate McGuire. That'll be a yellow card.
And this is really good attacking from Lexington right here. They win it in possession in their press. Jones plays within 2 touch, and then using her body, McGuire does extremely well to draw a little bit of contact there. She has the slight advantage. She has the yard of space. That's why that foul is called, but that's really good from the front runner.
And it looks like on that replay, it's Wasilla Dewua Soleil that comes in with that clipped kind of foot.
Well, when you have that ability to shield the ball in that space, any slight contact when you're going at that speed, trying to get an opportunity is going to bring you down. So I think it's a good call. And this is really important for Lexington right here, because this is how you can claw your way back into a game where Tampa Bay has had the majority of possession and opportunities.
Standing over the ball is Madison Perez. Again, she had the assist on the goal versus Carolina. Can they put themselves back in with a goal here? Perez puts it in, lofts it in, and it's a header goal. The home crowd on their feet after that one, a much needed goal for Lexington SC.
And at first I wasn't really sure about this. I thought it should be a shot attempt, but Parsons does incredibly well to get on this. No one staying with her on the run. Absolute textbook heading technique, hits it straight into the ground. If that's in the air, Orcas has a chance, but this ball is just floated up. Look at the power that's generated on that header right there. That's a great finish, and this is timely for Lexington.
Absolutely, and again, we're seeing a set piece come to fruition for this Lexington SC team. Their goal, their first in club history, came against Carolina Ascent off a corner kick. It was Sydney Shepard on the end of it. This time, Madison Parsons with her first goal of the season.
And I think most coaches will tell you that set pieces are one of the last things defensively and attacking-wise you really focus on. You're trying to get principles of play and all that, and you can see where early in seasons maybe the marking isn't as tight as it should be, all those things, but you also have to give credit to the attacking ones, especially that one right there, because the power on that header, the technique used was very good from Parsons.
Be a throw-in on the far side for Tampa Bay Sun. When we spoke with Tampa Bay Sun head coach Denise Schulte-Brown, we asked her about Lexington, what she saw in this group. She said, well, they're a well-balanced team. Maybe one of the most balanced in the league. They're young and they manage their energy and aggression well. This is a team, you can't be comfortable with a 2-0 lead. This is a group that has so much energy in the attack. They're never out of it. Giamona puts this one towards goal. Skiba comes up with it.
And I think we didn't see that in the first half from Lexington. I think part of that is due to Tampa Bay Sun and their establishing possession. Tim Rack was a really big part of that in unbalancing the team. But also, I think Lexington just didn't have the energy that Denise Schulte-Brown was talking about, and they were playing a little bit deeper and kind of in those spaces where they let the Sun come to them. Now their positioning and their starting positioning is a little bit higher as we see the foul called.
Cheers to local beer. West 6th Brewing is proud to be the official craft beer of Lexington Sporting Club. Find their locally crafted beers all around the state of Kentucky. From the flagship West 6th IPA to Sixer Light Lager, there's something for everyone. Head to west6th.com to visit one of their dynamic tap rooms and learn more about Stadium Ale, the official craft beer of Lexington SC. Tampa Bay Sun throw in. Timrak finds Listro. Jordan Listro makes the move off the back line to that central midfield, more that holding position, but what have you seen from her? You mentioned early in the first half, she was kind of taken out of it a bit. We haven't seen her a whole lot. I feel like we haven't said her name much. This ball sent forward, tried to play across the box. Skiba comes up with it.
Well, I think what's really incredibly effective about Listro's game is her simplicity. She gets on the ball, she moves the ball. When you're the opposition, you want to take the holding mid out of the game because that's so much of the person that sets the tempo, and especially when you have the skill set that Listro has, where she's very good in possession. She makes really simple decisions that are effective just to spring other players forward. Now she's getting on the ball a little bit more, but that's just because of the way that Lexington is set up, and she's probably figured out some of those movements to be in possession.
Lexington wins this one back deep in the heart of Tampa Bay's half of the field. Ball sent into the box. Orcus comes up with it once again. Hendricks shoots this forward. Listro steps. Giamona.
And we haven't seen a lot of possession from the Tampa Bay Sun. It's been a bit end-to-end in this first portion of the second half. One of the spaces that might help them is getting to the side of the opposition center mid. It is Moyer who's playing in that holding mid spot. And now that they don't have two there is some space to get into. It's just figuring that out within the run of play. They don't have a halftime to be able to go talk about it. Who's going to figure that out and find that space?
This ball put forward. Clark Lemieux has it, enters the box. And it ends up being a lot more threatening than it looked from our angle. Skiba deflects it out, and it'll be a corner kick for Tampa Bay Sun FC.
And I like this run from inside to out from Clark Lemieux. She takes 2-3 looks to see what the runners look like in the box, takes on Perez. Perez gets in touch. That makes it incredibly hard for Skiba. She does well just to make sure that this deflection doesn't go in the goal, because once that deflects, it's hard to react.
Today's Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. Ball in, headed. Hendricks on the end of it, picks it up, finds Edmonds. Edmonds searching for an angle in. This ball will be cleared by Lexington. Nice job there, making sure Edmonds wasn't able to get a good angle for a cross.
That's really smart from Edmonds right there, just drawing a foul. We've seen where set pieces have been effective on both sides, but that's experience in that moment, knowing she wasn't really going to go anywhere. It was 2 against 3 in the wide channel and earns the set piece.
Kristen Edmonds, again, loads of experience. Comes to Tampa Bay Sun from Gotham FC. Has also spent time with Orlando Pride, Casey Current. Talia Stouty. Bassett. Nasello takes this towards goal. She was trying to look for that through ball. She finds it. Bassett puts it across. And a save by Skiba.
I love the intentionality that Nasello has when she gets the ball. There's no hesitation whatsoever to go in the 1v1. Right there, puts her head down, goes. There's no covering player. Great defending, actually, from Moyer. But Nasello continues to go, and this little slip ball just not timed perfect. The offside is called. But that's incredibly dangerous attacking in the wide space.
Yeah, and You mentioned it, but Moyer's defensive composure there, it is not easy when you have a player of Nacello's caliber coming at you, guns blazing.
You're right, and the best defenders, they actually slow their brain down when they're in their own penalty box, but you can see where some defenders will go commit a foul because they get nervous or things like that. What Moyer does there is just says, okay, I'm gonna make you outright beat me. I'm not gonna do anything to step in and win the ball. I'm just gonna keep you in front of me. Very good 1v1 defending.
Wasila Dubois-Soleil trying to make something happen, but it'll result in a goal kick for Bridget Skiba. Casey White, Bridget Howard here with you in the home opener for Lexington SC. Tampa Bay got on the board twice in the first half with goals from Stouty and Giamona. Lexington not out of this one though. They want to make their fans happy here today. Thank them for coming out for their home opener, Madison Parsons.
And getting that early goal provides that little bit of drama. We're back in this. It makes everyone get a little bit more nervous for the Tampa Bay Sun. So now you get to really see how each of these teams handle those emotional ups and downs of the game. That's part two of, with new teams, understanding how your team reacts to being up goals, down goals, and what you can get from them as they go throughout a season.
That's exactly what Denise Schulte-Brown told us when we asked her about the DC match and what they took away from it. She said, you know, there are going to be key moments and momentum changes. How do you manage that situation? That's a question that will continue to be asked of every single one of these teams as we get deeper into the season. Orcus clears the ball out. Stouty with the throw in on the near sideline. She'll pick it up once more to Timrak. Bassett out to Edmonds.
And that's the aggressive stepping we're seeing that we didn't see in the first half. When you make play more predictable, the back line able to step and win it.
Moyer. It's a good job getting that ball forward. Anna Richardson. Out to Parsons. This ball into the box. Orcus. Orcus, a keeper you rarely see bobble the ball. However, it's those good habits we talked about for Tampa Bay with Riley Parker being there in the case that she does mishandle it. Lexington SC had players right there.
And Parsons plays this in, and you're right on it is McGuire, two players in the box, and I love to see the defender, the center back, go in behind Orcus just in case something does happen. So definitely good habits in that moment.
And quick transition, Ashley Clark-Lemieux on the ball, looking for space. She'll try and take one herself. Skiba comes up with the save.
And it was a great transition moment from Clark-Lemieux. You saw Giamona coming down the center of the field. It could have been played a little bit earlier first time, but then that gives Lexington the ability to recover, gets it back on the left foot. You can see her trying to pick out that far post area, but Skiba sees it all the way.
Substitution coming in now for Lexington SC, Julie Macon, the Castle Rock, Colorado native, entering the game.
Substitution for Lexington SC in the 70th minute. In there in the
getting her first minutes of the season. She'll replace Hannah Richardson. And a good showing from Richardson today in her first start.
I think so too, and I think as the game went on, that aggressive stepping to press, that fits her game. She looked comfortable stepping forward, wanting to get into the attack, win balls, and so she definitely grew in this game and into that role.
Coming into this match, she had played in just one game. The match versus Carolina Ascent, but it only played 29 minutes, so some much needed action in this game. Valuable minutes for Richardson. Again, you're seeing Tampa Bay try to target those spaces out wide. Good defending there from Macon.
And that's the space that you do want to look for, especially on the change-up point. When they switch the field, the outside backs, Macon, Weeks, it was Richardson before, they're getting higher. They've got to chase after the game. So in transition, can you expose that space behind?
Nasello picks this ball up, looking for someone in the box. She finds Giamona at the top of the 18. Good defending from Weeks. Weeks now transitioning over to that far side of the field. A late whistle there. I was surprised it took that long. It would have been a dangerous opportunity for Tampa Bay, but Stouty late to that one. Rolls out of bounds prior to that ball across the box.
And although it went out of bounds, the technique from Stouty when she's leaving her feet to cross, she got it for the assist, is really good. That's really hard to do, to be able to be that direct with it, get it that much pace on it, but she's been really good getting forward in this game.
We were talking before this game, Casey, just looking at these rosters, and Tampa Bay specifically, they have so many notable names that have had extensive careers in the game of soccer.
And that can be something that is really helpful, especially early on in the season, because it's an extension of the coaching staff, players that have played at that level, and be able to really take on information and help the younger players.
Clark Lemieux on the ball, finds Edmonds in space. And that was Sydney Shepherd, the great block, making sure that ball does not find the heart of the box.
That's really hard as a center back because you want to come across and cover, but sometimes you just need to hold your position. This is Clark Lemieux with Edmonds overlapping in the outside channel. Sydney Shepherd just staying there, making it as predictable as possible and being able to block the ball coming across.
Much needed as Giamona and Dewua Soleil right there that made its way through. Today's Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. Erica Timrak on the ball for Tampa Bay Sun. Ball in. Danielle Chesky saw something she didn't like in the box. Shepherd on a knee.
There was just a lot of players at the top of the penalty area, a lot of movement trying to get open. Sydney Shepherd was one of those players, and she'll get treated in this moment. But I think that foul was called just with a lot going on in that scuffle and being able to try to stop runners going into the box. We'll see right here. And it's Stouty and Shepherd in this moment. I'm not sure exactly what happens there, but the foul's called with the scuffle at the top of the box.
You can see on the far left-hand side of the screen, it was a bit of a scuffle between Autumn Weeks and Wasilla Dewua Soleil. It's hard on corner kicks and until you're in those moments, and on set pieces in general in the box, because you may not mean to get caught up with someone but it ends up you lose out, excuse me, on an opportunity.
You do, but you're looking for every small margin or advantage on a set piece. That's what it's about, and then executing with that maybe half yard of space. And so that's what the referees are there for, right? Every player is looking for that advantage, how to get in, whatever it may be, and there's a good call there to make sure that you just stop any of that going on.
Shelty Brown talking to her group. She spent 17 seasons at USF, won 6 straight AAC championships, had 8 NCAA tournament appearances. Quite the resume from Denise Shelty Brown, now making the jump to the professional ranks.
Yeah, she was there for so long, had so much success. Chris Brown, her husband, has taken over as the head coach of USF and carrying on that. So it's nice to see Denise Shelty Brown on the bench for the Tampa Bay Sun. Brings a lot of intensity. She's extremely intelligent, and we were asking Kristen Edmonds about her, talked about her intelligence tactically, how to manage players, her intensity she brings to the group, but doing that and creating a culture where everyone wants to be there working towards a common goal.
Let's look back at that Lexington SC goal.
And this is an interesting decision not to go for goal, but it works out perfectly for Lexington. Stouty comes towards the ball, but it's Parsons on the backside that comes in, times her run incredibly well. There's so many runners that it was distracting. The fans absolutely love it, seeing the first goal that they've had in their new stadium, and it's Madison Parsons that delivers.
An exciting moment for Lexington SC. But they're hoping they can find the back of the net at least 1 or 2 more times to get the draw or the win. As we know, so important to try and defend your home turf. Really, it should be the easiest place for you to play. Tampa Bay Sun making it difficult. They want to get their first road win of the season, their first win on the year in general.
When you talk about being at home and solidifying, playing at home and all of that, I think another piece of that is when you go into a new environment, figuring out what your role is takes some time. So you can have experienced players, you can have new players to the professional environment, but you still have to find your role within your team. And you kind of start to see that with Lexington as the game goes on. They look a little bit more comfortable in what their roles are, both in and out of possession.
Giamona in the corner for Tampa Bay Sun. Ball across to Wua Soleil, and a goal, and it's Ashley Clark Lemieux adding to this Tampa Bay Sun lead.
And this is all just very much against the run of play, but it was that wide area, Bridget, that we were talking about in transition that the Tampa Bay Sun were able to expose. You can see the happiness on Clark Lemieux, some relief, some happiness. Goal scorers love getting forward, getting their first goals. It's the wide space right here. It's Giamona that gets in there, looks to take this ball right across, plays it down. Soleil is able to get onto it. It's Clark Lemieux that makes the most of it, though, when it goes off the leg of Perez.
Yeah, it just gets right under the feet of Perez, and Clark Lemieux in the right place.
But it's good organization in the box. You want multiple runners for that reason alone, because you may not score on the first opportunity, but you have to organize to wherever it bounces down, you've got someone close.
Goal in the 79th minute for Ashley Clark Lemieux, her first of the season. We're starting to see that offensive production come to life for this Tampa Bay Sun team. Exactly what they were hoping this match would entail for them. Natalie Turner-Wyatt enters the pitch for Lexington SC.
Number 19, Natalie Turner-Wyatt, entering for number 22, Sydney Shepard,
and Alyssa Frazier
entering for
also on for Lexington SC.
Courtney Jones. Goal for the Tampa Bay Sun.
So a couple of changes for Lexington. We'll get a couple of more changes here for Tampa Bay. Dami Richardson. She'll come on for Carly Giamona. Giamona has had a hand in every goal so far here today, even had one of her own.
Yeah, she's done incredibly well. I think the front three plus Giamona, those four players really had a lot of interchange. You would see Giamona starting centrally. She gets that assist from the wide area with the run from inside to out. So incredibly hard to defend across 90 minutes when you have four capable players that can play in all areas of the field.
And another player substituting on for Tampa Bay, Paige Almendarez. The inaugural USL Super League season has officially begun. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into all things Super League. Autumn Weeks gets the better half of that battle in the midfield. She'll send this one towards goal. Be wide. And a goal kick for Tampa Bay.
It's been nice to see Lexington get a little bit more going forward in this half. And we talked to Denise Schulte-Brown, though, about Tampa Bay Sun. Like, they had a lot of possession in previous games, but it was the execution in the final third. Today, especially in the second half, they've had that one real opportunity, and they're able to put it away.
Viv Bassett walking a bit gingerly. Bassett, another player that comes to Tampa Bay Sun from USF. As time winds down, Lexington now in a little bit more of a hole. Mary-Kate McGuire puts this one past Orcus. And they're right back in it, Casey.
They really are, and that's going to make these last minutes very interesting. Hendricks was covering in that space, and I know we're going to take a little bit of a look at it. It looked like maybe a little tug from McGuire, but that's what you need to do as a forward, make the referee call it. It's a great run in behind. There's more penetration through the Lexington midfield. It's opportunistic, but you'll see it right there. But Hendricks goes to ground, which makes the decision a little bit easier for McGuire and what she's going to do. It's a little bit of a tussle, goes to ground, isn't able to clear it out, but that's a very nice finish. She times it well as Orcus isn't able to set and make the save.
It's that announcer jinx. Just as I'm saying, this Lexington team has dug themselves a bit of a hole. I'll take that back. Now down just one goal here. Mary-Kate McGuire was eager to get on the board in her 1 year at Ole Miss to finish out her college season. She had 7 goals and 4 assists. She's known as a scorer, and now making that same name for herself here for Lexington SC.
And it was a pretty narrow gap to be able to finish off the left foot. If that's on her right foot, it's a little bit easier of a finish because you can bend it outside the frame of goal around the keeper and back in. With her left foot, you have to be pinpoint accurate in that moment. Very good finish from her, and it comes off a little bit of a miscue.
And this ball, with a lot of time and space, put across the box. And Tampa Bay nearly found the back of the net for the 4th time here today.
And it was great defending from Moyer in the end, but it's this ball right here. It's just a little bit of hesitation. You've got to put more pace on this so she can get pace on it right there. Paige Almendarez does it. Clark Lemieux not able to direct that on frame, but it's hard because it's behind her in the run. What a save from Skiba, and then it's the defending right there where Kristen Edmonds isn't able to get on it because of the tackle of Moyer.
Yeah, props to Moyer getting back. Another ball out wide for Lexington SC. Parsons on it. She cuts it back inside, cuts it once more. That'll be a foul just outside the box. A yellow card shown to Viv Bassett.
Well, there's tons of deception in this run from Parsons. Everyone getting forward right there. You just want to keep your feet if you're Bassett in that moment because there's no cover close enough in behind, even though Hendricks is there. Takes out that left leg of Parsons, and now another incredibly dangerous set piece for the Sun. They've got to make sure they know where Parsons is after seeing that header earlier in the half.
And you had pointed out early in this match how well of a job Tampa Bay has been defensively in terms of their structure and marking on these set pieces. Needs to happen and needs to continue on this set piece as we enter the final moments of this second half. Lexington trying to even this game up. Ball in. Moyer tries to get on the end of it, and Orkis will come up with the save.
I like the idea, though, on that set piece because they floated most of them into the penalty area. This one's driven to the near post space off the left foot, and anything can happen in that moment. It could be a deflection, whatever. Moyer goes for it, doesn't connect with this, but brings a lot of attention there. It deflects, I believe that's off Timrack, and then into the hands of Orkis.
There was that second run coming in, so regardless if Moyer got a good touch on it or not, it looked like it was going to deflect as it did. Next weekend, tune in for more USL Super League. First, DC Power takes on Fort Lauderdale FC in their home opener on Friday, September 13th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Watch all USL Super League action right here on Peacock. Good ball movement from Lexington SC. Ball into the box. And Parsons gets ahead on it. A number of Tampa Bay Sun players on the ground after that play.
Well, what I love about what Lexington is doing right now is we're seeing the aggressiveness that Denise Schulte-Brown expected in totality in this game. This ball's played in from Frazier. Parsons cuts right through the middle of Edmonds and Bassett and not able to direct it on frame, but there's a little bit of a tussle right there. Gets to the ball, and she's just causing problems in the penalty area, making the Sun uncomfortable.
Brooke Hendricks puts this ball forward. She finds Clark Lemieux. There will be a substitution for Tampa Bay. Viv Bassett banged up a little bit in these last couple of moments. It'll be Sienna Bryan, the Academy player, getting her first moments in this match. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super Newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. A restart for Lexington. They look to switch the field. Weeks, ball forward. Cleared by Tampa Bay Sun. Weeks will have the throw in on the far side. Good step from Natalie Turner-Wyatt. Lexington puts this ball across. And a tussle on the back post. Casey, again, a great build-up for Lexington.
It is, and Moyer's usually a part of it. She's been everywhere in the second half, just puts it into a dangerous area, not able to connect on that back post was Macon, but goes for it nonetheless. It goes over Ashley Orcus. These are dangerous moments, and I'm sure Lexington's excited to see that 8 minutes pop up of extra time because they're definitely putting the Sun under pressure. Listro, Timrack, those players need to get their foot on the ball if they want to try to see out these 3 points.
Mishandled in the midfield. Now Tampa Bay in transition. Almendarez on the near side, taking it herself with some moves. Lexington will come up with it. Just a rushed pass there from Almendarez.
Yeah, and that's a moment it could probably be recycled back to your back line and keep possession.
Mary-Kate McGuire on her horse. Parsons trying to spin with it. Edmonds will lightly clear this ball out.
And they just made a substitution, the Sun, with Bassett coming out of the game. Not something you really want to do is take your center back out, but she was struggling a little bit with physically towards the end of the game. But Stouty is a natural center back and has gone into that role. So that's a little bit better from the Sun to be able to have someone already on the field that they can slide into that to see out the game.
Edmonds had her head up, looking to switch the field, unable to, but a great ball for Ashley Clark-Lemieux. Looking for support in the box. She'll hold on to it, take her time. Clark-Lemieux to Timrack.
And that's better decision making right there. That's what you want. You want to start it over, get it into your midfield's feet. You don't have to force it into the box, especially when it's 1v3 in there.
We knew there were going to be some growing pains for teams in the first couple weeks of the season, but by far one of the most exciting matches we've seen in this early season for the Super League. Five great goals we've seen in this match.
That's another Commonwealth Credit Union.
Today's Lexington SC corner kicks are presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. Dami Richardson at the top of the box.
And just a bit of hesitation there from Richardson. I like that Clark-Lemieux went ahead and went forward. They have numbers in the box. That's the difference in the moments. You have numbers in the box. You can still look for those opportunities. It doesn't have to be in the corner for 8 minutes of the game, but Richardson just not able to connect.
There's those hard hats again. Casey, they're torturing us.
They're taunting us. I know. I was just going to say that.
A restart for Lexington SC. Back pass in a precarious situation for Skiba. 5 Sun players in the box right now. Ball put across, cleared by Lexington. Picked up in the midfield again by Tampa Bay. It's Almendarez. Bryan will switch the field. Stouty on the ball. Big ball forward. Trying to target Ashley Clark-Lemieux.
And these are moments where you've got to get back in your structured shape. So Almendarez needs to get back on this near side channel. Now you've got to have that out of possession structure and not allow Lexington the space to get forward.
Ball across the midfield, but Listro picks it up. Almendarez can see Jordan Listro saying, all right, calm down.
Right.
Let's find the right passes. Be calm in these final moments. Tampa Bay works to move it around the field. Find Timrak. Timrak on the ball. Trying to find Clark Lemieux. Lemieux making space with the shot. Tess Skiba, but goes wide.
And I think we're seeing a really good attempt from the Sun. They're knowing when to go forward, when to keep it. Lemieux, a true goal scorer, wants to get it on that left foot almost every time she gets it, tries to go to the far post. And this is fine. This is an opportunity, even though it's getting late in the game, doesn't connect, but now you can get the goal kick, get behind the ball.
Casey, it felt like Lexington had all the momentum there for quite a bit, and Tampa Bay, I would argue, has been so composed. They've had more of the opportunities in these last couple of minutes.
They have, and they've realized, okay, there's going to be times where we have to go forward. Sometimes the way to take pressure off our back line is just to have a really good attack, and that's what they've done in these last few minutes.
Great defending from Sienna Bryan. Lexington works to get it back. Cleared by Hendricks. And that ball will stay in, but it'll go out for a Tampa Bay Sun throw-in on this near side. Domi Richardson sends it to Bryan. Long ball sent forward in the hands of Skiba. Quickly sends it forward. Not much Julie Macon could do there with that. Tampa Bay Sun up 3-2 in these final moments of the second half. Hoping to secure their first win of the season and first road win of the season. Cleared out by Tampa Bay. This score ends up holding, though, a lot to be excited about for this Lexington SC team. And again, a team that you cannot count out in any match that we'll see them in this season. And that's it. Tampa Bay Sun gets their first win of the season, and it comes on the road. Lexington drops their home opener.
Tampa Bay Sun SC 3.
I think what's really exciting to see about Lexington is that resiliency that they showed to come back. There's not going to be any easy wins with all of these teams. Tampa Bay Sun looked in complete control, but Lexington really made them earn it in the second half. And I think for the Sun, they take a step forward in figuring out how to see out a game, get those 3 points in some hard moments.
This is a young Lexington team. A couple of players with a lot of experience in their college days, but you see Madison Parsons get on the board, Mary-Kate McGuire. It's really exciting to see these teams continue to grow from match to match, and this is just the second match for Lexington Sporting Club, and to see where they're at and the starting point at which they're growing this club from, Very impressive.
And in their first game, it was their center back Shepard that scored. So to get two of their attacking personalities that are going to be really dependent on this year on the board, get that clicking a little bit and getting that confidence behind them. Goal scoring is about confidence. You don't want to have to overthink. You want to just play and be in certain spaces to have opportunities, and they did that.
And Tampa Bay Sun, they came into this match after creating a number of offensive opportunities against DC Power just 2 weeks ago. Head coach Denise Schulte-Brown told us it's all about gaining that confidence. We want to keep continuing those opportunities, but let's put it in the back of the net, and they did that 3 times today.
Yeah, and I think you have to be happy about that for sure. The execution was great.
Well, Tampa Bay comes out of Lexington with a win, their first in club history. We've got more for you coming up after the break. Full-time score presented by Central Bank.
To right back Talia Stouty, that's the first goal. And this is the one we just took a look at with Giamona. Plays it out there, Tim Rack to Stouty, and it's the finish right across the frame. That doubles the lead in the first half. Incredibly important goal. But Lexington would have some more words about this. It's Parsons coming through on this set piece. A powerful header to the near post.
Yeah, Parsons excited to be able to get on the board for her group. And then we see Tampa Bay. They found so much space on the outside parts of the field, and it's Ashley Clark-Lemieux who ends up putting this one in the back of the net to put the group up 3-2.
And Giamona gets that assist played across in that moment, so a goal and assist for her. This ball played in. Again, Lexington just continues to fight. This one's Mary-Kate McGuire. A great finish with the left foot. You can see what it means to the hometown team.
Lexington SC again coming out on the losing side of this one in their home opener, but lots to look forward to for this group. Tampa Bay Sun, you said you imagined Denise Schulte-Brown going to be very happy with that shots on target and shots margin there. 8 shots on goal in this match today. Great for this group.
At this level, the 3 points is what matters, but you want chance creation, which they had with 13 shots to 8 over Lexington, and then you want gold and you want the accuracy, and they dominated that category as well, 8-2.
Your quick thoughts on how both of these teams build from this match and what they saw tonight?
I think it's an exciting brand that we're seeing from both of these groups. It shows that Lexington is never completely out. They made it hard for the Sun, but the Sun weathered the storm and were able to get it in the second half and make sure they still came out on the winning side.
Well, it was a fun day, Sunday afternoon for week 4 of Super League action. The fans were excited to welcome this Lexington SC team to their new home stadium, state-of-the-art pitch here in Lexington, but it's Tampa Bay Sun earning their first win in club history on the road nonetheless. From our producer, Maria Ringo, our entire crew, my partner, Casey White, we're saying so long from Lexington.